Good afternoon. You're listening to the new WCEG network on WCEGTalkRadio.com, the Worldwide Community Empowerment Group. You can like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and on Instagram at WCEG_talk_radio. And now you can watch us live on YouTube. Just search for the WCEG network and you can catch us live on the air and our archived shows. You can call in at 678-619-1402. You can join the conversation, you can ask questions, or you can make comments. We are a 501c3 nonprofit community radio station. Please consider making a tax-deductible donation to our station to keep quality talk radio and Quality Talk TV on the air. Call our office at 404-490-8646, and thank you in advance. And welcome to Upwardly Mogul. I am your show host, Pennye Rogers, and my very special guest today is
Jeevan Brown.
This is Jeevan Brown. He is our show host for Millennial Talk, the new Millennial Talk 2, as well as being an author, an entrepreneur. I'm just going to let Jeevan tell us a few things about him today, about himself today.
I'm a man of many different hats. I've always had a lot of different ideas since I was young, so I've been acting on them since I was young, and now I've started putting things into motion the past few years. So I'm an author. I have a book called The Lesson Learned, and in my book I interviewed 16 of my friends who all had a trial or tribulation while they were in college. So I'm telling their stories, and then after every story it's a lesson learned, and they're saying how they got through it and what advice they would give somebody else going through the same thing. So it's different topics. One of my friends, she got abused while she was in college, STDs, drugs, racism, student loans, everything you can think of. My cousin was Josh, how he played for the Mavericks, so I have a story about him getting drafted from Wake Forest in there. And I put the book out 3 years ago this month.
Wow.
I'm self-published, doing everything myself. I got it on Amazon, Kindle, iBooks, and since putting the book out, it's in 5 colleges and a few high schools, and doing everything myself, marketing, going to the schools, talking at different schools, and I've been on the road these past 3 years, and I also have a clothing line.
I can tell. Oh, right. See, that's what I'm talking about. And so just based upon, we're going to kind of take it step by step. Let's first talk about some of the journeys that you've had over the last few months that I've just been able to try to keep up with.
Yeah.
Being in and out of the country. I remember you were in Dubai at one time, and then you were over here, and then you've been over there, and I just can't seem to keep up with you these days. I'm glad to have you in the studio today, Jeevan.
Thank you for having me. I love being here. The past few months, one big thing I did, I talked at Tuskegee University, and if you don't know Tuskegee, that's a historic HBCU, historically black college university, one of the top ones, you know, the Tuskegee Airmen and the Tuskegee experiments they had in Alabama. So I reached out to them probably about 2.5 years ago. I called them, I went on their website, and I looked up the freshman deans and professors there, and I found out who was in charge. I knew they had a freshman read there, and I called Dr. King, Miss King, and I told her about my book. I sent her a copy. She loved the book. She had some of the students read the book. They loved the book, so I thought it was going to happen the first year. I reached out to them, and they called me and asked me some information about the book, and I was like, it's probably King Tuskegee, but it didn't happen. And they ended up going with their Mortal Life of Henrietta Lacks. And you know that,
I love that book.
And that book actually turned into a movie.
And a movie. I love it.
I wasn't upset, but I understood because that book actually talks about the Tuskegee experiment, everything that happened there.
Absolutely.
So it's like, why wouldn't they pick that book?
And the injustices that were done to the people that were. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
And Tuskegee. I understand. So I was like, oh, they didn't pick the book. But then the next year, I sent them an email of the updated curriculum, and I didn't say anything else. Just sent an email, and they called me and said they want to use it this year. And, you know, over 1,000 students it was required for them to read the book.
That's what I'm talking about.
They have to read the books. I made a curriculum for it, and I went there and talked in January. They started reading in September, so they brought me in January, and I was a part of their Lyceum series.
Okay.
And if you don't know what Lyceum series are, a lot of colleges, they have Lyceum series where students are required to go to see speakers speak. They've had Michael Eric Dyson there before, Farrakhan. When I was in college at Johnson Smith, we had Michael Eric Dyson come, and a lot of prominent speakers come. Yes. So I was the first speaker to come for 2019 for their Lyceum series. So I talked there. Amazing experience. I mean, super amazing. They had basically the red carpet rolled out for me. I came
Absolutely.
there.
That's right. You're a celebrity.
Yeah, I'm a celebrity.
I'm glad to know you.
They had. I walked.
Well,
in.
you're still reachable. Okay.
Yeah.
Probably stop answering my calls after a while. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
I walked on campus, and Booker T. Washington started that school. So they had. I drove on campus, and they had a cemetery there, and I was like, the cemetery is right near the church, but they're actually buried. He's buried there with his ex-wives. They're all buried there. So I went and I met with the president first, and that's the first time I've been to a lot of schools, but it's the first time I actually met the president of the school. And President McNair, very nice lady. She's actually the first female president and 8th president of Tuskegee University.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, so I had a 30-minute meeting with her. Very nice lady. She went to, I think, Yale or Harvard. I'm not sure which one. Okay. Forgive me. Met with her, and then I met with the honor students. And the honor students got to meet me personally. It's probably a small crowd, about 20 students, and they had questions for me. I walked in, and they were excited to see me. We had brunch, and I talked to them. And then after that, I went to the main event, where I talked to the entire freshman class and other students who came to. So probably 800 students in the gym. Talked about an hour. President McNair spoke also, and it was an amazing experience. I almost wanted to cry when I left there because I realized my book was actually helping them.
Absolutely.
Because after I got finished talking, they came up to me afterwards. The ones that didn't want to ask questions during the time. And they were telling me how this one girl, she kind of had tears in her eyes, and she was saying how my book was helping her because she had just lost her best friend this past October. So my chapter about when my best friend passed when I was in college, that was helping her. So she was asking me like, how could she, some more advice for her to get through that.
Move forward.
Yeah, because she had just lost her best friend. I understood that happened.
Wow.
So just experiences like that, just amazing. Just I'm still on the high from. I was on the high for about 3 weeks after that.
I can imagine because when you have the opportunity to impact people's lives, that's what makes the difference in being relatable.
Yeah.
Because when I first started reading the book, when you first came on board here, Jeevan started off as an intern as well, and now he has his own show. Okay, so those are just some of the things that some of the stories that I was able to read in your book, and I felt like I was right there back in school again myself, and just being able to relate to some of the stories, and then the stories, how it impacts our lives, whether you know it or not. That first chapter with the gun and all that. When I won't tell the story, I make them get the book, A Lesson Learned, Jeevan Brown. And how can they get that book?
It's on Amazon.com. It's on Kindle. It's on iBooks. You can go to JeevanBrown.com. That's JeeVan Brown.com. And if you order it off my website, I'll sign it personally for you.
You heard that right here on the new WCEG network. Okay, Jeevan. So now that you have, I'm glad that you were able to work your schedule to get him back in the studio this year. I haven't seen you since last year. It's been a long time.
Feel good to be back.
Okay, great. And we can't wait for you to start coming back in. And I know we had a couple of things we had to kind of reschedule, but our world has totally changed since you've last been here. But so now for this personal interview that we're going to have, I would like for you to, I know that every great business have a story of perseverance. What is yours? And can you give me that in about a 60-second kind of thing, just in a nutshell?
60 seconds.
I mean, I know because it would take really the rest of the afternoon, but can you just tell us what your story of perseverance? Just go, we got the time. Go ahead.
I moved to Atlanta to be a hip hop producer and journalist.
Okay.
And when I moved here, I was working for Ozone magazine. The magazine shut down because during a recession, a lot of the magazines are shut down.
Yes.
So I was kind of depressed about that. Depressed because I wanted to be a hip hop journalist and producer, and I still was doing that. But then my spirit changed, my mind changed, and I didn't really want to make beats anymore and be in the hip hop industry. So I had the idea to write this book since I was in college.
Okay.
But it was just gonna be about my wild, crazy times, and that's it. But as I grew older and matured, I said, let me do something to help and give back. I started reading more books and getting more in the church and praying more. And I was living with my cousin, living with her in her basement. And I was like, something gotta give. I'm getting older. I can't keep living with my cousin in her basement. Something gotta happen. And I cut off everybody that wasn't adding to my life. One of my pastors said, if it doesn't add up, you gotta subtract it, because if it doesn't add up, you can't multiply and grow to the next level. So I cut everybody off, and I got off social media, and I started writing the book. It took me about 2 years to write it, but during that time, I wasn't going anywhere. I wasn't doing anything. I wasn't dating. I quit drinking, quit smoking. I still don't do those things. I might have a drink every now and then. Just quit doing everything, and it worked out for me. I put the book out, and here I am later, I'm here. I bought a house recently. And,
yes, you have.
I bought a house with my book money.
Okay, see, that's what I'm talking about.
So.
I might have to kind of talk to you after the show a little bit so we can talk about. So, no, I'm just teasing. But wonderful, and that's good. So, what is your specialty? I know that you're an author and an entrepreneur, but what is your specialty? What area or sector would you consider the way that your careers are blossoming?
Specialty? It's hard to just pinpoint one, but I would definitely say creative writing and being creative, period. I have a million ideas all the time. I could be driving somewhere and I have an idea. I thought of an idea the other day for a shirt and it just comes to me. I don't know why, but I'm kind of peaceful guy, and I've read before, when you quiet the mind, you allow your mind to think.
Talk about it.
And then when you allow your mind to think, ideas will come to you. So I'm, not alone all the time, but I'm, in my house by myself.
Well, it's okay because I'm a loner.
Yeah.
And you tend to, but I agree with you wholeheartedly. I learned this from Les Brown back in the 80s.
Mm-hmm. Great speaker.
If you're familiar with Les Brown, he's a great motivational speaker. But he said, when I first started following him and listening to a lot of his material, cut the toxic people out of your life. Mm-hmm. Whether it's friends or family or whomever it may be, because everyone is not designed to go with you throughout your life.
Yeah.
And there are some people there for reasons and seasons. Mm-hmm. And sometimes that time has expired, but we still tend to hold on.
Right.
But you have to, in order for you to find out who you are, to know the direction you're to go in, these are some of the things that you have to do. So you said that, and that was something that always stuck with me. And that's been, gosh, I won't say almost 40 years ago, but it's 30-something years
people
ago.
are part of your journey, and you'll learn from them, and they'll teach you things, good or bad, but you'll take those lessons learned.
Lesson learned. There we go. That's what I'm talking about.
And move on and add it to your life, and know not to go down that path or to do that path again and do it better than you did the last time. So I don't have any regrets, because it's brought me this far. If I didn't go through this or go through that, this wouldn't happen. It all adds up.
Absolutely.
And it's all part of God's plan at the end of the day. It's all going to work out for you. I'm a big believer in having faith and believing in yourself. And visualizing it. I like to meditate at nighttime and think about the things that I want and I'm going to see in the future. Mm-hmm. And I've seen that happen. I have dreams, and my dreams come true. I had a dream that Tuskegee called me and told me that my book was going to be in their school, and then it happened. I've had dreams when schools were calling me in the dream and telling me that I can't come and speak, but they didn't cancel me, but it's just going to happen another time.
Right. They didn't say no, but not yet.
Yeah, exactly. It's never a no. It's always you pick something else, or we're gonna go in another direction, or sometimes this person left, so they don't even know about the book. So it's it's always something different. But I just keep following up. But having that faith and believing, and people got to remember the last time you were going through something and how you got through it, because people tend to forget. God got you to do this, you got you to do that, just like got you to do everything else, and it's going to happen again. Just got to have patience and just believe in yourself, and it's going to happen during the right time. And I'm a firm believer in that. So, sometimes I might get a little worried or thinking like, is it going to happen? But it's like, Jeevan, it's going to happen just
in the time that it's designed to happen. Absolutely.
It always does. Once you set out and accomplish one goal and accomplish more things, and you see how it worked out, it's like your faith just gets stronger and stronger and stronger, because you see it happen.
You see it manifesting in your life, because, and I like what you said about in terms of, I can relate, because when you talk about your dreams, that's how God speaks to me through my dreams, and that's how I get my visions. And I will get it, but you have to quiet your mind. You have to quiet yourself, because as long as you're moving and going and doing and being, you think you always have to be doing things, but you have to quiet yourself sometimes. And my prayer was for God to quiet my spirit, because it was so much that was inside, wanted to manifest and come out, but I had to be quiet to listen to God. So just remember, and I'm glad that you mentioned about your dreams. A dream delayed is not a dream denied, and we just have to wait till the right time for that. Okay, so next, what are your aspirations in life?
Aspirations is to help, to give back, and even with like my clothing line or with my book, I'm making money off of it, of course, as you want to do, but you always want to have a purpose behind anything you do. You want to figure out, even if you're working at McDonald's, you want to look at it as like you're helping, you're making somebody happy with this Happy Meal right now.
Absolutely.
You're serving
someone.
serving. You want to have that mind, that that thought behind it. So to be a entrepreneur and have my own businesses, I also want to get into real estate too. But write another book. I'm working on the script right now, 2 scripts. So I'm trying to finish those and just be a worldly mogul.
See, that's what I'm here to do, is to help my audience and to help my guest and to help those that are in the WCEG network to tap into your inner mogul.
Yeah.
And that was the idea behind the show, because we all have that upwardly inner mogul within us.
Yeah.
And when I use the word upwardly, that's self-explanatory. You're moving up, you're excelling. Yeah. And I would like to highlight you and highlight those show hosts. That's why I'm starting with my guest list in terms of highlighting the wonderful people that have helped WCEG Network to become the network that it is.
Right.
And so in terms of the real estate, and so I can definitely tell you about in that area too as well, leading to the next question. But how did you know, or when did you know of some of the endeavors that you have accomplished or that have taken place in your life? How did you know when did you know that was what you wanted to do? I'm asking that the right way.
Well, the book, I had an idea to write a book since I said college earlier, but I've always had this idea to write a book since I was in elementary school. Like in 5th grade. And it's about my friends going on a cruise ship. I don't know why that was it, but it was just that was the idea. But I mean, 15 years later, I'm writing a book about my friends, about our cruising time in college careers. So I think I knew I really wanted to do this the first time I started speaking about my book. And when I put the book out, and when I had some of my family members, my mom and my aunts and my friends read some of the chapters, and seeing the response, and some of them saying they were crying reading the stories. It was like, what's going on? And when they first started crying, I was like, they're my family. Of course they're going to feel that way. But then the editor, who didn't know me, she read the book. She said she was crying. And then when I put the book out and people started ordering, like a few weeks later, they were saying they were crying reading the story. They felt this way. I was like, okay.
You're touching our souls.
Yeah. So, and when I talk to different students and I see their reaction, I see that I'm helping them, that's when I started figuring out, okay, this is the right path. This is way satisfying than sitting in front of a desk and 9 to 5.
9 to 5. Okay. Oh, trust me. We've been there, done that.
That feeling is way whole different. It's like, I'm ready to leave, but it helps.
So are you still in corporate?
Yeah, I am still.
Okay,
still with the Department of Revenue.
Okay, good.
No taxes.
Okay. I need to talk to you. Okay, yeah, I guess we're going to have a lot of conversations going on now after hours here. Okay, so when did you take that initial leap? I know you said you thought about, once you thought about it, it came to you in 5th grade. But then a lesson learned, when did you take that leap? You said it took you about 2 years to write it. So when did you take that leap? When did you jump?
I jumped when I put the book out. I put it out in March. In April, I started calling schools.
So when did you complete the book?
I completed it I want to say November. And then 5 months later.
Of what year?
Of 2015.
Okay, that's November, what I was trying to get. When did
December.
You take that jump?
Yeah, November or December, because I was really cut everybody off then. Like, I was in my cousin basement just down there. My cousin like, why you not come out your room? Why you always in your room? But now she understands.
But you have to isolate yourself.
Yeah,
it's isolation. You go into solitude. Yeah, and it's not that you don't want to talk to people or have a relationship with people, but when you're trying to find out who you are and get yourself going, you have to take the time. You have to separate.
Yeah,
because that's what Christ did, and that's what the disciples and different people had to do. Not making this out of a Bible story, but that's where I get my inspiration. And being a minister and everything. But when you are able to, you have to isolate yourself sometimes in order to hear from God. Like we talk about, you have to get quiet.
And that's a jump right there.
Okay, from what you normally would do, because I was always out, always in the community, always doing things, always going. But there comes a time in your life where you have to isolate yourself.
Man, avoid temptation, because I was used to going out and partying and stuff like that, and
been there, done
I
that.
was used to that. Once you stop doing those things, you still have those feelings, those cravings to go out and do those things. I was smoking, so I stopped smoking, so I still was craving.
But your craving for a better life is what made you kind of look at things a little bit differently. Okay, so what was that deciding factor for you to what was it that you just said, hey, I got to do this. I don't care what it takes. Cutting yourself off, what was the deciding factor?
Thinking about Well, my initial faith jump was moving to Atlanta, you know, because
Okay.
I'm from the D.C., Maryland area. So
Okay.
that's actually my initial faith jump. Moving there, because I graduated from college in 2008, and I moved down here. I didn't know what I was getting into. I went back home first for like a few days before I left. And it hit me when I was leaving Maryland that I'm about to move to Atlanta. And my dad, he was kind of sad. Mom was sad. I was like, well, I'm really moving. So that was scary right there in itself.
Okay.
Moving to Atlanta, and none of my family or friends are here. And what was the question from there?
Just what was the deciding factor?
The deciding factor.
What was it like? You just said, "This is it. I'm going to take this move. I'm going to take this jump.
When
I'm going to take the leap of faith."
when
What was
I
that?
started working for the Department of Revenue, it's like something gotta give. I gotta do something else. I didn't sacrifice leaving my family and my friends to move down here to just work
9 to 5 every day.
You know, I could do that at home.
Right, absolutely,
I moved
absolutely.
down here to do something and be something more in life. Sometimes you got to move away to make a way.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
the industry that I wanted to be in wasn't big in DC how it is now. So that was the deciding factors. Like I didn't move away just to be sitting here working 9 to 5
and do the same thing that you could have
so I
done
was like,
at
let
home,
me
I
act on
understand.
these ideas. Like I always say, God put that idea in your head for a reason. People pray for this, pray for $1 million, pray for financial blessings, but God isn't just going to give you $1 million. He's not just going to give you money, but He'll give you the idea.
The idea.
But it's your job to act on it.
To put it out there.
To put it out there, to seclude yourself and work and keep going and have a purpose behind what you're doing also, and make sure you're trying to help somebody in the way that you're doing that. So that's my deciding factor. Just thinking like I see my nieces getting older, my mom every time I go back home I see my mom, my dad getting older, and I've seen them, take care of their parents, when they got older and they passed away. And I know I've seen that happen. I don't want that to be me. I want to be able to still be there with them and be able to go home more because I see them getting older. I want to miss out on those moments.
Absolutely.
I get on Facebook and they on Facebook Live having a birthday celebration and everybody together doing this time
Right.
this holiday. I'm not there, and we're a big loving family. And I don't want to miss those moments. So it's like I got to do something to climb up and go higher because just sitting here and not making even that much back then, it's like I got to do something. I got to do something.
And I can understand you because this year marks my 30th year that I left corporate America, and I haven't looked back.
Makes sense. Wow.
I mean, it was like I knew when I was there, I had a goal at that time. I wanted to get the formal executive kind of setting, and I was traveling with my company, expense accounts, living pretty good, and they were paying me pretty good.
Yeah.
But I just did not see myself doing that for 30, 40 years and retiring. I get to go watch on a plaque. I mean, that was just something that it was like, but I knew it was something more to life.
Right.
But then once I understood where my family background, I was able to trace my ancestry back quite a few years to like my great grandparents, and just knowing that they were entrepreneurs at the turn of the century, the 1900s, when my grandfather was born, and just
It's in your blood.
what my family, it's in my genes, and I don't mean denim either. Okay, it was kind of like I understood where my drive for entrepreneurship,
Right.
and even right today, my family in South Carolina, we just have a just amount of pastors and preachers, and I was wondering where that came from within me. I knew God called me to do it, but my grandfather was a pastor, and his father was a pastor, and so just that it's in my blood.
Yeah,
and it made sense to me.
both sides, my mom and my dad's side of the family are both church tracing back there, and I mean they are going.
They will
deep.
love it.
They loving it. I mean, they finding out so much when we came in there on the slave ships and everything. And but my mom's side, my great granddad, he was a preacher, and there's a lot of preachers on that side of the family.
Yes,
so
yes.
I see where I get my spiritual thing
Absolutely.
from. And then a lot of my family, they have dreams too.
Absolutely.
So I see where that comes
Oh my
from.
God, we're gonna have to talk, Jeevan. I'm serious.
So I
This
call
dream
my aunt
thing.
sometimes because she be having visions all the time, and she actually told me when I was 13 years old. She told me that she had a vision of me talking in front of large crowds. And I thought she was crazy. I'm like, I like because she real. She's an alpha female. She's kind of like you, She say what's on her mind, but she real spiritual. So like, Jeevan, I just had a vision. You're gonna be talking in front of large crowds one day. And I'm in like, get out the bathroom so I can get in there. And I understand. I'm gonna be an actor. I'm gonna be an actor in Hollywood. When
because you know what? It's you can't tell everybody about it because they won't understand.
Yeah,
they'll kind of think you're a little
like,
on the loony
They
bin
will.
somewhere. But really, and as I mature and as I listen to God, God shows me who I can talk to and who I can tell about those particular gifts. And this is a spiritual gift that you're that you have.
And then one time I had a dream about my friend, and something that happened to him in the dream. And I called my aunt, like, should I tell him that? And she's like, how do you think he's gonna react? He probably gonna think I'm crazy. He's like, don't tell him. Just pray for him.
Just pray.
Just
really?
Pray for him. And that thing that I had a dream about, it came true.
I can believe you on that. And sometimes it's not good. Sometimes it's not so good what the vision that you're given.
Yeah.
And I used to think when I was younger that, you know, you thought it or you dreamed that you made it happen.
Right.
And, you know, like, because, well, just to give you an example, I dreamt that of my father's death. And this was long before he died.
Did you make it with tears in your eyes?
I woke up with that scared feeling, like thinking I didn't know the gift that I had at that time. Yeah. And I know some of you listening to me now, you probably think I'm crazy if you don't have that gift that you've been graced with, because everybody can't do it. But I shared it with an aunt, my dad's sister. And she told me, she was the first person that I shared about my father's death and his funeral, everything. And she told me that the same thing happened to her with their mother, which would have been my grandmother. Right. And she never told anybody about it. But once I opened up to her, and I was in my 20s, maybe 21 when my father passed. But it showed me everything in the dream, and everything manifested the way that, and I was afraid of it. Right. And I thought I made it happen, you know, like, oh God, well, you know, I was superstitious about that, not knowing the spirituality that was behind it. But I won't that's another whole conversation in its own, but I can understand your gift and where you're coming from in terms of sharing it and who to share it with, because some things are not positive, and you don't want to think that you wished or you dreamed something that caused something to happen. But you know, that's the superstitious side of it, but understanding your gift. But as we move on, who or what is your biggest influencer in life?
Well, probably my parents.
Okay, good. That's good.
I think I get my work ethic from my dad. I think he still probably works harder than me now, but he's retired now. But watching him when I was younger, he would come home, he'd probably get off work, he'd probably meet me home like around 2:50. He'll come home, take a nap for like 20 minutes. And when I was smaller, I'd walk on his back, but now I got bigger. He couldn't do it no more.
Oh, no.
And then
breaking the back now. Okay.
He's an electrician. So then he'll sleep for like 20, 30 minutes, then get up and go back out and then do side jobs again. And then on Saturday, he's doing it again. Sometimes on Sunday, not all the time, he'll do the same. He just work. And then if he's not doing side jobs or working his regular job, he's at home doing projects. Like, seeing him is like, and then he came down, like you saw on Facebook, you know.
That wonderful work that he did, renovations to your kitchen.
He redid my kitchen. Well, I helped him redo my kitchen. We did it together. But, you know, we would go to bed around 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock at night. And then 6 o'clock, 6:30, I'm hearing banging downstairs. And it's him. I'm like, what? It's Saturday.
Okay,
what are you doing? But it's in him.
But you understand why he does what he does in order to work everything into
and he's very successful. He's retired now. He's been traveling like every other month. He can do whatever he wants, basically. So that work ethic that he put in, you know, got him where he at now. He don't got to worry about nothing. You know, he's straight.
But that's good. But that let you know your path and where you can be doing what you want to do when that day comes when you can't walk away from corporate and do your own thing, because there is such a freedom that I've had these last 30 years. I have to kind of adjust some lifestyle changes, but I haven't missed a meal or a mortgage. That's all I got to say. But you have to make that. And it's not really a sacrifice, because if it's something that you really want to do, you will do it. Okay, let's go. So your parents, no, that's good. That's wonderful that your parents.
My mom too, because she's very caring and very loving. She always believed me. My dad believed in me too, but my mom, she never told me I couldn't do anything. She's like, you can do whatever you put your mind to. She always,
like that. I love that.
And as I get older now, it's like parents should do that. You know, make sure you tell them that they can do anything, and you know, instill that in you, because you'll really start to believe it. And I've always believed that, because she never told me I can't do this, I can't do anything.
And I think that's very good for children as well, because even coming up in my era, we were told that we're not better than anyone, but we can do anything that we set our mind to do. We are, because for our community, and in the era that I came up in the 50s and the 60s, it's kind of difficult. You know, people, there were stigmas and there are still things in society to try to keep you from accomplishing those goals.
Right.
We'll try to, and because if we look at the news and some of the other images that are put out there for our community, you would think everybody was stealing and killing and drug dealers and, I mean, you know, that kind of thing. But we have to show the world. That's why we do the empowerment, speaking life into the community here at WCEG, because we want to show the positive side of life.
Right.
We want to show that we can accomplish anything that we want, and we are not all what the news portray us to be. Because the world watches how they put that out there, and the world sees that, and other cultures think that that's the totality of us, but it's not.
But really, if you ask me, we one of the most creative cultures.
We are, oh Lord, that's some other stuff that's going to come up in some more questions here, so we're going to move on that. But that's good that your parents, because some people, sometimes they don't have the influence at home, and you have to seek that mentor or other people from outside of your home, which is good that you still can have other outside influences in your life as well. But starting in your home, that was good, because it starts at home and spreads abroad, as the old saying goes. Okay, so what stands out the most in your career for you now? I know you have several paths that you're on, but what is the most prevalent for you? What stands out the most? Your book? Your author?
Of course, my book. I'm trying to think of what part. My book. I would think talking at the different colleges, but going back and being the speaker at my high school alma mater, that was very big. I went to a huge high school, graduating class of about 600.
And they had that's big.
So I was a speaker. I was a speaker for their graduation.
I remember that.
And I went back and I spoke there, and there's about probably 2,000, 3,000 people there. And it was at the University of Maryland where they play basketball at, and just speaking in front of all those people and looking down at the students, knowing I was once one of them, that was big. And I put that on my vision board probably about 2 years before that. Like, I went on Google. I went on Google and I typed in the name of high school was Charles Herbert Flowers Senior High School, and I found a picture of just a random graduation from that school, and I put it on my vision board, and that meant that one day I wanted to be the speaker there.
Oh my God!
And then 2 years later, it actually happened. So to see that manifest and just standing there and said, like, I put this on my vision board, and now it's really happening. You know. And then my high school is tied. It's kind of tied to Tuskegee, because Charles Herbert Flowers, he was a Tuskegee Airman.
Okay.
So to see that kind of, you know, duality kind of thing happen, that was kind of crazy, you know. So I think that, and talking to different schools, talking at Columbus State University, Tuskegee, Bowie State, Livingstone, you know, all those different colleges, just, you know. Well,
I thank you for sharing your successes and your journeys on social media, because that's how I like to keep up with the show host, so that I can help spread the information to show people that, wow, look at what Jeevan is doing. I mean, no matter what, you know, sometimes we just need a little extra encouragement sometimes, and that will come out. And you never know who you're helping, like your book. You never know what chapters or what stories are allowing people to relive, and that's where the emotions come in, because it really takes you back to sometimes in your life where you may have gone through something similar, and just having to, wow, it's just
and
it's relatable.
When I go home sometimes and I see some of my old friends, people I went to school with, they tell me, you know, you're inspiring me, because I tell people all the time, I don't got no big marketing machine. This is all me. So I'm no different from y'all. If I can do it, you can do it. So you got it somewhere deep down inside. You just got to find what you were put on this earth to do.
And you have to be committed to what you're doing, and you can't give up either. But that's going to be something else that will come up in as we're closing out. But I do have a few more questions. So we're halfway there.
Okay.
So can you tell me, how have you sustained?
Staying focused. You know, if I may slip up and see myself going back to my old ways, I'll catch myself. I have friends who are similar to me. You know, they pray for each other. We have a group chat. We talk to each other about different things. You know. My family keeps me in check. I don't really get big-headed, so, but, you know, if I ever did, I'm sure they would. Well, you better calm down.
Like,
so,
what's up? What's really going on?
But, you know, I've had a few slip-ups in life, so it's like, at this point, I know I don't got time to be going back there, because it's not going to add. It's going to take me down a path I don't want to go down, and I don't have time for that. I'm doing good right now, so I gotta stay focused. I got a purpose. I got ideas I gotta act on. I got things I have to do, and time is ticking.
Absolutely. Which brings us to our next question: is, so what would you say to a younger self?
Stay stay focused and stop chasing all them girls.
But see, but that is all part of life.
It is.
You have to keep it into perspective.
It is.
You can't let that be your major goal.
Yeah,
Okay?
yeah, you can't.
I mean, you know,
you can't.
you because we're going to be into relationships from the time we're born until we leave until we leave this earth.
Yeah.
And so, but you can't get caught up in the. It's okay to be out there, but you gotta be out there with a purpose as well.
Yeah.
But we all go through that.
Yeah.
It's just knowing when to stop and when to get serious and when you'll be looking for a wife. I mean, I'm not putting it out there now, but I'm just saying. Yeah. But you want to just make sure that it's just not all chase and
because
nothing behind it.
Times like I could be working on stuff. I'm up here chilling with somebody who I know ain't really, you know, my type like that or with me.
When people are not adding, I won't say value to your life, or when it's not, I'm not trying to tell you and trying to be the big auntie kind of thing, what they call TT now, but you know, but when you're focused, and after you get a certain age, you know, some things are acceptable in our teens and in our 20s, but when we reach a certain age, we have to stop being foolish with our choices and decisions and some of the things that we're looking for in life. And so if people are not going in the direction that you're going, they're not trying to accomplish or have some of the things or going in the direction you're going, it's really kind of a dead end. You're kind of wasting time. That's going to enhance your life, and you're going to be enhancing their life too. So, but there's a time when we all, right, Mr. Oliver? There was a time when we all were out there foolish and having fun, but then there's a time when you have to get serious with life. And you have to know when to hold and when to fold, okay? Because if not, it's bad, it's sad when you see, excuse me, but you know, with my ebonics, but when you see an old player out there, old folk, people out there need to be at home trying to teach their grandchildren some things, but they're still out trying to club and party and do what the young people are doing. You're not, anyway, but that's another story, and I won't get sidetracked. But, okay, so what's on the horizon for you?
Something that I got coming up, I'm about 60% done with my script. I should be talking at Mississippi Valley State University next month. Okay. And I've been talking to a plethora of schools, and my book is going to be in some more schools by the fall. So I've been reaching out to more schools, and you know, the more schools it gets in, you know, they look at that, and then when they sing Tuskegee picture, they're like, oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, then they're going to be calling you. You're going to be getting the phone
calls. Tuskegee one of the top HBCUs, so when they see that, like, oh, okay, excuse me.
We need to call him and get him in here for office students.
Because if Tuskegee picked it must be, you know. Absolutely. That's what they think. So that's more stuff I have coming up and some more ideas I have for my clothes.
So in terms of your clothing line, what's your next big step or power move in that area?
To duplicate and put out more designs and ideas. You know, I kind of fell away from it a little bit. I still got it, but I need to get back focused on that. You know, I got a lot going on, so I need to stay focused on that part. But I got some ideas. I think I'm gonna put one out this summer because I got a good idea. It's actually inspired by Tuskegee. I don't know if you guys know, but Lonnie Johnson, he went to Tuskegee University. He's black, and he's the guy that invented the Super Soaker.
See what I'm talking about?
So, but I ain't gonna tell you what the idea is for my shirt, but I got the he kind of inspired it. But I actually saw his speech on YouTube, and I was like, the guy that invented the Super Soaker is black and went to a HBCU.
That's what.
And that Super Soaker made somebody. That Super Soaker made over $1 billion in revenue. Okay, people love the Super Soaker.
And I'm glad that I know you now where you're reachable, because I know after a while you'll probably change your number and let us keep your number where it goes to voicemail. I've
had the same number since I was in the house. This is the same number I had. I've never changed my number at all, and I want to keep this number.
So do you have? But you got another phone. Everybody don't get that number. Is that what you're saying?
No, I just one number I ever had in my life, and I answered the phone. I text you back.
Everybody don't have all numbers, but anyway. But you got them. I'm just teasing.
I'm not. I have my one phone, and I text you back. I might take some time, but you know, I try to get back to everybody.
Well, I'm just glad I know you.
I'm glad I know you. Look at this.
Okay. Okay. So now, if you could, or if you had to, or could, what would you do differently, or would you do anything differently?
I won't do anything differently. Okay. Because I feel like everything I did got me here.
Absolutely.
You know, and
everything is a teachable.
I like where I'm at right now.
Okay, so lesson learned.
Yeah, I wouldn't change.
That's good. I like that. Okay. What are some I won't use the word pearls because when I'm talking to females, I ask the females what are some pearls
Gems.
of wisdoms, but what are some gems that you could pass on to young entrepreneurs or other people that considered wanting to write a book, wanted to be an author, or just clothing, going into the clothing line design, or just anything that you're doing in terms of your real estate. What would you tell? What some gems that you would share?
You know, I say act on your ideas, but you want to also have your business in order. So, you know, sit down somewhere and focus and do the research on how to get your business together as far as taxes and all the paperwork you do, because people will do these things but they don't have all their paperwork in order. So get all that together, because the man will come for you if you're not paying your taxes and doing everything the right way. And just sit down, learn. You can go online and read it. I self-published my book, and I learned basically almost everything on YouTube. So YouTube is your friend. I went online and I typed in Google how to self-publish a book, and I started going through all these different articles and websites and YouTube and listen to people talk on there, and people give great information out there online.
Absolutely.
Like, you know, I was trying to learn how to do Photoshop at one point, and this guy was on YouTube and he had a whole class, different videos showing how to learn how to do Photoshop, and then had a link where you can download this template where he can show you how to make a flyer or do this and do that for free. So sit down at your computer, take some time, and don't go out a little bit and learn how to do what you need to do, and stay focused and pray. So pray every night and pray for
and believe that it's gonna happen. You
yeah,
know?
when you pray, say exactly what's on your mind.
Be specific.
Be specific.
Be specific to
so
God.
specific.
You write it down.
Say exactly what you
Absolutely.
want.
Absolutely.
Exactly what you want, and
Absolutely.
try to figure out. I'll say this: try to figure out exactly what you want. It may change, but you keep changing your mind and changing this about what you want and what you want. That means God got to start all over to work on that path again to get you where you want to go. Because he was taking you down this path to get there, but then you change your mind again.
Do it the way you want to do it. You don't want to follow instructions.
You got to stay on that path and stop changing your mind that you want to do this and do that. Because then you got to go around and start it this way to get you down this path, and then you're going down this way. You got to stay focused. Make up with your mind what it is you really, really want. Sit down, take some time, talk to people you're close to and love you about what you really want to do, and stay focused on that one goal. And it may change, but accomplish one thing first. You know, people just say a jack of all trades and a master of nothing.
Right?
You know, so stay focused.
And it's good too that you do have different areas, career areas, and accomplishments that you want to do. Instead of just being an author, you can do, well, you know, millionaires have several streams of income. 7, I think, is the minimum. Have seven streams of income in order to keep your assets and to grow your assets and investing and so forth.
And the book is kind of like residual income, you know, because Kindle and
something that you can always have even as you progress and move on to other areas.
I look online, you know, a few times a week, and it's always random sales just from iTunes and Kindle.
Absolutely.
Like I don't know who's ordering the book, but I see the graph is going up, you know, fluctuating throughout the week, and that's just money coming in.
That's what I'm talking about.
The more I put the book out, interviews like this is online. Somebody may hear me talking, they'll go buy a book, and I'll see it in a few days online. It happens all the time.
So the saying "mind your business" is really true. That you have to mind your business in order to be a successful entrepreneur, and no matter what sector that you want to go into. So, what legacy are you leaving, or what legacy do you want to leave?
You know, I heard Maya Angelou say one time, you know, you don't know what your legacy will be. But hopefully I leave an impact on people to better themselves and do better in life, and to be known as somebody that helped out the community and did things for the world, and was a business mogul and was a good person. Okay.
Well, you know, that really, because I started the Upwardly Mogul because I would like for our audience to know who's behind the microphone here.
Right.
Some people just think you just get behind here and you just not really just get random people, but there was a plan, there was a vision behind that.
I came here for an interview.
And and the interview, I just like the way that you interacted, but I knew that there was something more to Jeevan than just what met the eye. And just being able to come back and pour into our audience from your age group, because you know young people don't want to sit around and listen to old people talking. I'm just saying.
I like you all have
wisdom because you get wisdom, but then sometimes there are still you want to relate to people your age, where your book has allowed you to help other college students and those that are getting before they get to college.
I love hearing older people talk. I went over my friend's house not too long ago, and her grandma came out and was talking to me. We talked about a good 2.5 hours.
Oh, and see, that's good.
And she was like, "Why are you talking to my grandma?" I was like, "Your grandma is smart." Because her grandma used to be a Black Panther.
Oh,
and when I heard that, I was like, I was picking her brain the whole time.
I know that was interesting conversation, but that's what we wanted to bring to the forefront here for our audience to know who's behind the microphone. When Jeevan comes on the third Saturdays, who is Jeevan? What is it about him, or why should I listen to him, or just knowing everything that you possess, all the good qualities, and because they can't just tell that having a one-on-one conversation with you and another guest coming in because it's about your guest. So I wanted to turn the tables and invite the show host in to be able to people to know, because I just when I see the wonderful post, the social media that you share, whether it's pleasure or whether it's business, I take that, and I'm glad you make it shareable, make it public so that I can share it. But that's the reason behind it, because I like for people to know exactly who's behind these microphones. We just don't have anybody randomly just coming up in here. Just talking.
I know you don't.
I mean, but I want our audience to know, so when they hear Jeevan's name again, they're going to pay attention to it. And so that's my premise for wanting to do that, but that was the vision too that was given to me. So Upwardly Mogul is to help tap into and to just introduce the world to that inner mogul that's in you, and to know that we do just more than get behind the mic and kind of talk about some things. We have a purpose when we get behind the microphone. And in terms of the legacy, that was the last question. So can you tell us some social media or how we can get in touch with you if someone needs you to come out to their school or to their organization to share? How can they reach you?
Facebook is Jeevan Brown. That's Jeevan Brown. Instagram is author Jeevan Brown. Twitter is Jeevan Brown. And if you want to email me, it's brownjeevan@gmail.com. I have a website too. It's www.jeevanbrown.com. Everything Jeevan Brown. You Google my name, Jeevan Brown. You'll see about 2 different pages pop up full of stuff from me and articles and interviews and schools and everything. If you want to fact check me, you can go right on Google and type my name in, and everything I said will show up.
And I like how you made it simple. You know how some people will use a social media handle that has nothing to do with their name or their business, and it confuses people, So if you can keep it straight, Jeevan Brown or Brown Jeevan, or however you mix the Jeevan and the Brown up, but they still can find you, but you made it simple.
It's
and
not
that's
hard
what
at
it's
all.
like, you start doing the queen over here and the prince over here and put other stuff with it. It just confuses your audience or people. Well, I wonder this is him right here, and but I do appreciate you for stopping in today to let our audience know here on the WCEG network who you are and what makes Jeevan tick. And we're going to definitely make sure that we keep our schedules. We can be flexible too, that too. So if you're not able to come in for your travels or business, just let me know what dates you are, and we can make it happen in terms of that, because I really would like to keep you behind the mic, to keep you empowering our worldwide community and just being who Jeevan is and growing to be all that you can be, because I would like to make sure that there is a platform for our young people because you are our now, our future, our now. We don't want to wait till we die off and then try to get somebody to do what we're doing, but you can carry the torch.
And thank you for giving
this is the legacy that you can help carry on that I want to leave out there for someone.
And thank you for giving me the opportunity. I love it coming here and seeing this and seeing how every time I come back it's getting more and more and more different platforms. It's growth. I see it.
Yes, and it's possible. So I hope it helps encourage.
And I see different people, the different hosts we have. I see they're all doing different things in the community. I know I was dealing blackjack because I do blackjack sometimes for fun, and the lady Kathy Adams.
Yes,
she probably remember me, but she came.
What the casino night that they have with the organizations.
She came to my table one time, and I remember I'm like, I know her from but I remember her.
Did you speak? Did you
talk?
I
didn't. When I saw you posting her, I was like, that's the lady from that night. But that her and her husband that came to my table, and she's a Delta and he's a Kappa, and they just looked like they were important and they were real nice.
Okay,
they were real nice.
You hear that right here? Jeevan said you guys looking important.
Yeah, they were real nice that night when I was playing blackjack with them, and I was like. And then she's on the
Yes, they are
on the
very
show.
community oriented, and they do a lot of things with the different organizations around Atlanta, in the political arena as well, and with the 100 Black Men and some of the other organizations that they are part of with their fraternities and sororities. So, but we try to get all different types of different people into the studio because we all are important, and no matter what area it is. Because just to kind of let the audience know too as well, I've been working so hard. I didn't realize that 40 years had passed by so fast for me, but it was brought to my attention, and I received a letter from the state capitol from one of the representatives, Representative Stovall, who introduced me to our new intern here. I'm not going to mess up your name again, but I'm going to have you to get on the microphone. So you guys get ready, put your headsets on, and get ready to turn your mic on, pull up to the table, because we're going to continue this conversation. And Jeevan, you can help me kind of talk to our two new interns into the studio. But in the meantime, though, on March 26th at 9 a.m. in the morning, I will have to be at the state capitol downtown here in Atlanta, Georgia, where I will be recognized by the House of Representatives, and I will receive a resolution for the community work that I've been involved with it almost 40 years. I perpetrate, people sometimes think I'm only 40, but it's a lot behind this as it goes. But I will be recognized along with friends and family, and some of the show hosts said they wanted to come down to support me, but I will be given a resolution by the House of Representatives. And thank you, Valencia, for all of your work and things that you do in the community. You come into the studio as well to give us information coming from the Gold Dome and what's happening with legislation and just some of the new laws and things and that you're putting out there too to take before the House. And I do want to thank you for all of your work in the community. Thank you, Valencia. I appreciate you. So Jeevan, thank you for your time again. Give us your information, your social media again, and then we can move to our interns.
Instagram is author Jeevan Brown. Facebook is Jeevan Brown. Twitter is Jeevan Brown. My website is www.jeevanbrown.com, and again, that's JEEVAN Brown, and my email is brownjeevan@gmail.com.
And you can always catch Jeevan on the third Saturdays here at the WCEG network from 1 until 3 p.m. when he's in town or when he is not out in the community or other communities out of state as well, doing what he does best. And thank you again. I'm glad to know you. I'm glad to know you. So with that note, we're going to ask our new people in the studio to turn on your mic. There's a switch right in the back of you, in the back of that microphone. You switch it up, adjust it to you, pull it to you, and move it how you need to talk. So introduce, and we're going to start with the lady first. Tell us your name.
My name is Deajaray Gaddy.
Deajaray Gaddy. I love that. That sounds important. That sounds classy. I like that. And who do we have here?
Stevan Lester.
Okay.
Columbus State University.
Okay. And how did you find out about us here at WCEG?
I met Mr. Brown at a college student for a day event from Collegiate 100. And it's funny that you mentioned the 100 Black Men because that's the smaller version. This is the college version.
Oh, okay.
So next semester, I'll be taking over as president as Collegiate 100
at
Columbus State.
I like that.
Yeah,
I'm glad I know you.
Yeah,
Okay.
I actually went down and talked at Columbus State University. They brought me out to speak there, and I met him there. He contacted me for an internship.
Right. And I saved it. When I got your information, I was able to go right back to it. I think it was in December. It may take a while, but like Jeevan says, it may be delayed, but it's not denied. And I do thank you for being flexible to come in today. And Miss Gaddy, can you tell us, did I say that right?
Yes.
Okay. I just want to make sure. Can you tell us how you found out about WCEG?
I was at a college fair, actually.
Okay.
I was at a college fair, and I was having a conversation with another student at the college I attend. And I ran into Valencia Stovall. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong.
Stovall.
Stovall. Okay. I ran into her, and she was giving me a lot of advice on the conversation that we was having about me pursuing my career in radio and everything. And she brought up WCEG, and she told me I should give Pennye Rogers a call and
thank you.
And move forward from there.
Okay. Well, thank you all. So is it anything that you can share with us in terms of what made you decide to go into this particular arena or want to come through the intern program? What is it that specifically was your deciding factor in your life? We'll start with you, Ms. Gaddy. Okay, if you would like, then we can let.
Yeah. Well, growing up, I always grew up around radio.
You're next.
My mother was an intern for V103 around my age. My parents actually have a business called Radio K-12.
Okay.
And so they implement curriculums and radio stations in the different high schools. Yeah, so
Wonderful.
I've always been about radio. And currently I have a radio station or radio show at my college called The Real Spill. And it's kind of like something like this. So I've always loved radio. And I just want to make sure that when I do graduate, I'll be able to get into the field of it and stuff like that. So internships was big for me.
What kind of radio do you want to get into?
I like sports radio, but then I also like talk radio and empowerment and stuff like that. That's what I do on my show.
Okay. Nice.
Interesting.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, because we just ended. We had a couple of sports shows, and one just left in November, and we've kind of filled that slot on Saturdays. But you're giving me some more ideas. But in terms of the empowerment part,
Yeah.
we definitely always want to keep that there too. But you're giving me some ideas. I'm glad. See, this is why we interview, so that we can know who we have before us and kind of where we want to take this. So thank you. Okay, Miss Gaddy. Are we going to call you DeRay for short? D-Ray for short?
That's fine. That's fine.
Okay.
Yes. When I was in high school, I was part of the broadcast team, and I did a lot of production when it comes to like filming football games, all that stuff. I did a lot of that, so I learned a lot of those things, and I just fell in love with it. And right after I graduated high school, I went right into college at LCC. That's in Ohio, Lorain County Community College, and I took so many different communication courses, and from there, from LC, I had transferred to Florida, a school in Florida, Edward Waters College. I did it in there, and then I came down here to Atlanta.
Okay.
So yeah.
Made you come to Atlanta?
Where I was at back at home, it's not a lot of connection, and it's a real small town where I'm from, and I needed to get out. So, and I know that I'm a very good people person, and I meet people all the time. I make new associates all the time, and I needed to surround myself around positive people and a lot of different people that got a lot of things going on that will help influence me. Okay. So that was the main reason why I made a big step on coming down here to Atlanta.
Nice.
Okay. Anything else you may want to ask, Jeevan?
What kind of radio do you want to do?
I want to do a lot, though. I want to do a lot. I want to be on talk shows and stuff like that, do personality shows and stuff like that. I do want to be able to travel and do motivation speaking, all that stuff. I want to do a lot of those things.
What's been one of you guys? Are you in school right now?
Yes.
What year you in?
I am like a junior.
So what's been you guys' top challenges from being in school?
I would say diversity. Most importantly, I would say diversity.
What school you go to?
Atlanta Metropolitan.
Okay.
State College. I know you were saying a lot about HBCUs. I had always wanted to go to HBCU, and I went to an HBCU, and I'm really interested in your book, and I really want to get that book. But I always been interested in HBCU, and I went to Edward Waters College.
That's HBCU.
HBCU.
Where's that at?
In Jacksonville, Florida.
Yeah.
So I went there.
Duval.
And, oh yes. So it was more so of a culture shock for me, and I've had my first semester was terrible. My second semester, that's when things started happening for me, but it didn't turn out how I thought it would turn out.
It was a culture shock because everybody was black, or so.
And I know it sounds silly because
I understand it, because one time I saw an article and it was a video, and they were asking students what made them want to go to HBCU, and a lot of them said because they growing up in high school, they were around. They were like the minority at their school, so they wanted to go to HBCU to go around their people, and they said it was a culture shock. And I was like, wow, but I'm not growing up where I'm from. Everybody's black, so then I went to HBCU. I was right in my element. Starting to work at 9 to 5 was a culture shock to me. That was a culture shock to me.
Being I've always been in predominantly white areas. Even like we're at my job. I told somebody at my job, I told them, I said, oh my gosh, this is really the first job I ever had, and everybody black. So so it really is an experience, you know what I'm saying? And being around predominantly white people, I didn't really get to experience what other black people experience when it comes to the culture. Yeah. So
you get the swag surf.
Be prepared. Be prepared when you go to the motherland. Okay. If you ever get a chance to go to Africa, trust me, I felt so at home over there because you could count
everybody
the other cultures on your hand because everybody. Our people are everywhere. We're running everything, and I love it. But anyway, I'm sorry, but that will be a shock to you then.
I like what you said about the diversity. Growing up, I moved a lot, so I've been at all white schools, all black schools, mostly Hispanic. Like I've been everywhere.
You've been all of it.
Yeah, like we moved a lot. And what's funny, when I started high school, I was at all black school, and then my sophomore year, we moved to an all-white school in the middle of the country. So I was like one of 13 black people out of 1,300 kids. Yeah, so you talk about culture shock. It hit me hard, but it worked for me now. With dealing with other people, diversity. You could really put me in any environment, and my personality would just be able to strive. Yeah. So, but I know you said what was the difficult part about college. With this being my second semester of college. And, being the radio station and with Collegiate 100, the biggest thing for me is just doing time management and not overwhelming myself. I like how y'all talked about having time to get quiet. And I keep joking around saying that I need an office, but somewhere where I can just go and just, look back at everything and go, okay.
You don't go to the library?
I do. I work at the library.
So when I was in college, we had libraries, and then we had little rooms we can like rent out. You don't go in there?
Yeah.
I just go in there all the time.
And see, when I'm working, like I work right at the reference desk or whatever. And so I do go back to the library to study. But like even aside from studying, just have some time to just like and my
schedule going to the library, just being by yourself. So, that's hard because you're in the dorm, right? And then you go outside people's.
Everybody knows me. That's the issue. Everybody knows.
I just get a little quiet. They had the practice field, so I would go to the practice field and sit in the bleachers by myself because nobody would be there. If they wouldn't, I would go there and chill a little bit. It's always people around. You can't really avoid that, and especially if you live on campus. So.
Wow. So what are some of the things or career interests outside of what you've mentioned in communications and, ever thought about journalism or news correspondent or things like that or other positions of that nature? Have you thought about either of you thought about that?
I did think about journalism at one point. I do know that's... I'm sorry, I keep bringing you up because you are so interesting, and I'm serious. Like you're so interesting, and I was listening to you talk and stuff like that, and I feel like personally we have a lot in common, sir. Just simply because I'm a writer myself, and I write. I have my laptop and everything, and I type in my laptop and everything. But in my phone I have an app. And just like you were saying, your creativity, you know what I'm saying? I could be somewhere and I just type it up in my phone, you know what I'm saying? And save it in my phone. And when I'm ready, I can transfer that to the laptop and everything. But I've always been writing since I've been younger because I've never been able to express myself that well. So I would always write. So. Okay. I do want to write a book. And
do you have an idea what it'll be about?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
What's it about?
I write poetry.
Okay.
So
snaps.
I was going to ask her, can you give us a sample of something? Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I do write poetry. My brother says I write sad stuff, but I really write about my personal experiences and what I went through. But my first book, my goal, my idea for my first book would be to reach out to women, because women go through a lot of different things every day. Even some men, but women,
all men and all women.
Yeah, all men, all women,
everybody.
Yes. But it's a lot of things that I went through personally that I want to be able to express myself and tell my story. Yeah, and reach a lot of young women, especially young women, when it comes to feeling little things like feeling beautiful and stuff like that. Growing up and stuff like that, when you're not feeling your best and feeling beautiful, that really makes a huge impact as you get older, even in your adulthood, when it comes to dating and other relationships with people, your workplace. That really, everything, it really does affect you, and you become in a depressed state. True story. So you become in a depressed state, and I don't want anybody to have to experience those things. Anything that I went through in my life, I do not want anybody else to experience that. So anybody that have, I would love to help them get over that, overcome it,
Okay. Kind of like self-help. Things that you can do to help motivate yourself, encourage yourself when no one else will do it for you. Okay.
Yes.
And sometimes even as an adult, we still, at my age, you still have those times
learning.
of doubt. You're still going through relationship issues. You're still going through that self. Sometimes you have to change your mindset. That's what it's all about, changing your mindset, no matter what it is. You have to get a new mindset about it, and then you have to do a lifestyle change. And as Jeevan mentioned earlier, sometimes you have to cut those negative, toxic people. You can love them to life, but you still have to cut people out of your life. Because everybody can't.
Because some people just ain't gonna change. Some people just negative all the time. Some people at my job, they always negative. I go see them every once in a while because they still cool.
What's going to be.
They still cool, and we have a good time, but.
But if you're around negative people too long, you're going to become negative. If you're around doubters, you're going to become a doubter. You're going to be second guessing yourself, and you want to be around people. We all are going to have our days now. Don't get me wrong. Life is not a bed of roses and no crystal staircase, okay? But you have to be able to. It's a mind thing. It's a mind thing, and you have to put yourself in a place. Even you can be in the worst environment in the world, but you can have heaven right here on earth, and you don't have to die to get there. Okay.
The mind is more powerful than you know. What you think of will come to pass. I mean, think about it. You ever think about somebody, and then they call you?
It's no coincidence.
Yeah, it's not coincidence. It happens too much.
It happens. Oh gosh, people I haven't seen in years. People
I was just thinking about you. It's not a coincidence.
And I'll just say, Mom, I wonder what so and so is doing, and then next week or two or so, person will call me out of the blue, or we'll contact somewhere or another. But I know it's just all a divine plan in our lives. Even the bad things that happen to you, even some of the people that betray you, that's all part of the plan in your life. Because without that betrayal, it wouldn't make you or put you where you are now. But it's all a plan. Just think about Christ. Think about Jesus. What happened to him? He was betrayed, right? By somebody that he handpicked. He told them that they were going to deny him, and they said I would never do that to you, Lord. But that was part of God's plan. And so if Jesus hadn't gone through what he had gone through, then we wouldn't be saved by his grace today. But anyway, I'm not going to turn it off to another subject. But these are people. It was no coincidence when you were having that conversation with another person, and Representative Valencia Stovall heard your conversation, right? As we shared earlier. Yes. And then she kind of interjected a little bit. And sometimes we don't want to get into people's business, but sometimes we have to do what we're instructed and that we're driven to do or inspired to do, because maybe if she had never said anything to you, just heard you and went on about her business, then you probably wouldn't be sitting here right today.
Yeah, that's true.
So we kind of, that mindset. And that's why I tell my young people that millionaire mindset, that billionaire mindset, don't keep yourself at small change, and it's not all about the money, but it's about the number, because I found out myself too, in speaking with people that's in the finance arena, they will talk about how now a millionaire is not what it used to be. Companies and organizations are looking for young people, especially young people, to come up with ideas and different means of introducing an idea or putting something into place that would help over 1 million people or would help millions of people. It's not about the $1 million itself, but it's about you being able to help 1 million people or 1 billion people with your idea, and then your money will come. Those millions and billions will come, and even if it never manifests, if you're working within your purpose, you have to know what your purpose is. And when you find that out, and if you don't know what it is, you start praying about it. And I like how you do bring God into your equation. And don't think, I don't want to put any, I'm not trying to make you religious or spiritual if you're not, but you need to, there is a higher being. If nobody's ever told you, or if you've never believed it, you better start rethinking that situation, because that will determine your future a lot of times too, your beliefs and what you believe in. But
I always tell the students about finding their purpose is first find out what they love doing, their hobby, what you love doing, something that comes easy to you. So
you'll never get paid for
it. Your friends may be good in this, but it's something you do better than all of them that just comes to you. Your hobby. So if you like playing video games, be a video game developer. If you like music, be a music producer. If you love to cook, be a chef. And then once you find out you like being the class clown, be a comedian, be an actor, because that may be what God put you on earth to do. And then once you figure that out, you want to look at it as like you're giving back, like you're helping. So you want to think that God put me on this earth to help do this. So if you're a comedian, you want to think God put me on this earth to help people laugh and forget about their words of the day.
Uplift them.
If you're a chef, you want to think God put me on this earth to make people feel good about eating and having a good meal and filling their tummies up. So you want to look at it like that.
And I'm glad you mentioned that too, because it helped me to even know that some of our young people and older people that may be doing some things that are not within the law, and they're kind of, as my pastor calls it, they are pharmacists without license.
Okay.
If you all know where I'm going. But now that since marijuana, I'm just going to mention
it's
that
legal.
subject, that marijuana is becoming legal. You can go into agriculture and you can make money the legal way other than the street corner. I'm just saying, these are just things that we don't think about. And we may think of that as being something wrong with it, because I never thought I would live to see the day that it would become legal. Just for my era.
I'm from the Maryland, DC area, and going home to DC and seeing them just sitting out in front of their stoop smoking it.
Doing that, but why not? If you're gonna try to sell it or grow it yourself, why not do it the legal way? Why not go ahead and get you a business license? You get into the field and you do this the legal way. I think back a few years ago, starting salaries were no less than $200K a year. That's $250,000 a year. But just think and then look at all these other dispensaries. These other dispensaries, and I'm not pushing it. Nope. No way am I pushing it. But I'm saying, but if that's what you do, why don't you do it the legal way? So, but that helps us when we were just talking about finding your passion. So if it's something that you like to do, get in front of the mirror, get your brush, make that your microphone, or get an ink pen and get in the mirror and talk. If you want to come before people and speak and want to improve your communication skills, I do that before I preach. I write my sermon, and then my dog used to be my biggest fan. She would look at me when I'm sitting there after I do my sermons, and I do it before I go before my audience, before I go before the church or the organization.
When I talked to Columbus State, talking to Tuskegee, I was in my office in my house, and they're practicing saying my speech over and over and over. Hour-long speech, hour and a half long speech. And I'm practicing saying it over, but it takes about a week to build up to it. And if you get in there in front of people, they're gonna know that that you ain't practiced, that you ain't read what you speaking before you get to there. They say speaking. They say speaking in front of people is like the most feared thing besides death. And
I can believe that.
I can believe it, because once you get in front of 800 people and the crowds get bigger, that's a lot.
And you see all these eyes looking at you, and then you're going to get your butterfly. I even know people that are 50, 60 years into their craft, and they say they still get a little few butterflies every time it's time for them to do something. So it's never going to really go away. Yeah. It's just all in your mindset. You got to.
What I say is, if you don't feel them butterflies, I don't know.
You ain't saying that again. Or
so might be off. I don't know.
Or if you're worried about what you have to say or who's going to want to listen to me, the late Dr. Asa Hilliard made this awesome remark years ago that I'll never forget prior to his death. But because when I ask people to come before us, and what you're going to have to do also as part of your training and your internship here at WCEG Network, you're going to have to come to me and you're going to have to talk to me for 2 hours straight on some different subjects and different topics. And 2 hours, nobody but you. I may be asking you a few questions, or we may have a guest or so, but you have to be able to hold your ground. What if your guest can't show up, and then you're sitting in front of the camera and the microphone, and your guest can't make it for whatever reason? Mm-hmm. What are you going to do then? We're not going to cancel. Mm-hmm. You know, we've invested too much time and money and energy into this. We've all have come here, so you got to be able to carry on a conversation. Quality talk, not just rambling, but you got to be able to talk for 2 hours. Wasn't that part of your criteria?
Know about current events, what's going on in the world. You know,
you may not want to talk about politics and religion, but you know, those are personal issues. But I need to know who you are, and so I will want to know what you're capable of, and if you can carry on a conversation for a couple of hours. And I know on the spot. That's why I tell you to come into the studio, and you all are doing wonderful. You're doing well. First time, I mean, maybe not be your first time, but being live, and we're being viewed worldwide. So you can go back and check out the footage later, because we use this as a training tool also. So it will help you to know some of the things that you should and should not do on camera. Because I got kind of warm sitting in here, but I had to remember I couldn't pick up my fan and start doing this number here, but I kind of strategically start kind of pat my face a little bit. I asked my brother here the young man here to open the door for me a little bit, let a little airflow. But you're going to have those times, and there's no editing, there's no cutting. Yeah. But my point is, I want you to be able to have good dialogue, to be able to speak to anyone that comes through these doors. Or you may be out in the field somewhere, out doing your day-to-day activities. And that's why I was asking about a news correspondent. Have you thought about that? Because we're going to need people in the field. You can use your phones nowadays. They're super. People use these cameras and these mics on these phones. Well, you see what happens worldwide when we run into other situations around the country. You can be right there. Something is happening. You open your phone up. You start giving us some footage. You send it to us. We upload it. I mean, this is where we're going with this. So that's why I wanted to know what other ideas or other plans that you have for your future, so that we will know how to best utilize your skills and know the skills that you have, so that we can tap into that inner mogul on Upwardly Mogul here at WCEGTalkRadio.com, your worldwide community empowerment group. And as time, we're coming to the 3 o'clock hour. The time is has come before us that we will shut down for the day and head to our next stop. We will be taping a live bilingual class, Easy to Learn Spanish 1, 2, 3. We're headed to the library now in College Park. Our show host, Ramona Hernandez, is getting ready for us in her class, and we'll be taping her shows. She used to come into the studio 2 years ago, and her classes were well received by our audience, just on Facebook live stream. I think I was either using my tablet or my phone at that time, but now we will be taking the cameras into the studio, into the library for the classes. So is there anything you want to leave with our audience today in terms of any gems or pearls of wisdom coming from the young lady here that you would want to leave with someone that's looking to do better and to improve their life?
I would say do you, and do what you feel is best for you, period. Okay. It took me a minute to realize that, but yeah, do you.
Period.
Great. Okay. Okay.
My biggest thing is don't be afraid to stand out, or do what you feel is right. Like, I'm very spiritual. Okay. Grew up in church on both sides of my family. And so, being in college, that's a whole different scene. And at first it was like, they're gonna view you as lame, but I was like, no, I'm just gonna be myself. So I'm always encouraging, always trying to bring people into the body of Christ and stuff like that. Okay. Just don't be afraid to, be yourself and stand out.
Okay, and it's okay to be different.
Yeah,
because I didn't ever want to be average. I didn't know what I was saying when I was saying it as younger, but it's a lot of average people in the world. I wanted to be a little bit above average. I kind of want it to be great. Okay,
that's my biggest thing.
I'm just gonna say it. I'm gonna put it out there, and we never think that we have that within ourselves. But if you don't believe in you, who's gonna believe in you? Exactly. Like Jeevan was talking about, people that you come before when you're speaking, they can tell when you're not ready, when you weren't prepared, or you just kind of threw something together and didn't really put some time into it, because it is that first impression. Sometimes you never get a chance to make another one. And
you got to think. You're speaking to people, and you can change their lives. It's not a game. You know, that's how I really been thinking. Like, I can really have an impact on these students. I can really help change their lives and help what they're going through. And it's not a game. So that's why I practice over and over and over and over again.
Absolutely.
You know, when I have notes, but I don't even know I have notes anymore. Because every time I get up there, I don't never look at them. I never look. I'll talk to Skinny for a whole hour up on that podium and look at my notes once.
But that's because you prepared beforehand, and then sometimes your mind will go blank.
Yeah.
So it's good to have something in front of you in case you have to kind of, you use computer, you use these devices and tablets and you swipe. But this pastor friend of mine said that he let his son talk him into using his pad, his tablet, to put all of his sermon and his information in.
That's why I want a pad,
and
it has always got.
But it went blank on him, and he wasn't savvy enough, because as we get older, we need you young people to help us with these things. But he was right in the midst of his message, and his tablet blanked out. You know, if you don't have any activity, how it'll go and go dark on you, or sometimes it may go out and malfunction. And what do you do from there? But that's being prepared. And then too, when you really, and I was going to tell you all what Dr. Asa Hilliard said, but his son used to ask him how he would come in while he's preparing a message, or he was a college instructor too, and he would travel to Africa and do different things there, different works there. But he said his son would come in the room, Dr. Hilliard would have the television on, the radio going. He would be taking his messages, doing his message, whatever he's working on. He would be multitasking, and his son would ask him, how can you focus and concentrate with all this noise and the TV on the computer? You know, you're doing all these things, and or how do you, and then how can you remember? Like you were saying, that you can go past your notes and just do it from your mindset and what you put into your work. And he told him, when you have something to talk about, when you really have something to talk about, people will listen, and you can focus on where you're going, what you have to do, and it's coming from your heart. You don't want to have a script from somebody else you're not familiar with, but when you're speaking from your heart, when you're actually able to share that information, those nuggets that can help change a person's life, when you have something to say, you can do it without with the distractions going on, because some things are going to happen in studio. Something may go out. You may hear some noise, or you may hear something, and it's going to divert your attention for a split second. But you got to be able to focus and remember what you're here to do, or wherever you are with your craft.
And high school graduations, people always yelling and screaming. So that happened to me. But you got to stay on
right. You got to remember. So you keep your little notes and your little pinpoints, and sometimes your mind is going to go blank, but you just remember, you can just kind of thumb through it, and you can even engage your audience and make a little funny out of it, and still get back to what you have to do and keep the ball rolling. And
I would say pray before everything. I pray before everything. I always pray before my speeches, before my interview today. I sit right here in the chair, and I say a little prayer to myself. I always ask God to speak through me.
That's what I'm talking about.
So
absolutely.
I pray all the time. Before I get on that, I need that prayer before I get on that stage. Before I do an interview, because speak through me, talk through me.
And so we're going to close with this today. I do thank you all for just your time.
I appreciate it.
I know it was a little hectic when we first got here and trying to scramble and do some things, but as we are steadily improving and growing our network, we have to be ready for split-second changes. And if you have a problem with kind of having to thinking it's going to work one way and it goes another way, life doesn't go the way we plan it, right? So television and radio doesn't go that way either. We can plan all we want, but the plan that Jeevan mentioned earlier about having your plan, get your vision board, do your business plan for your businesses, or whatever you need to do, you keep that. Now that's a plan you want to keep into place. You're going to deviate. You have to take detours sometimes, like you're on the road and they shut down the interstate and you have to take a detour. Life goes that way too. And your careers will take that turn too, but be willing to go with the shift and the changes.
I did a vision board for y'all when I came there. I did a whole practice vision board. But yeah, Steve,
I got a big one. Just because of that, I got like a big bulletin board above my bed with a whole bunch of visions, everything
from when I came.
That's wonderful. Nice. See what I'm saying? And when we talked about, get those little stick-it notes, put them on your mirror, put them on things on the refrigerator, in your car, wherever you are. You keep those little notes and reminders to encourage yourself. Self-talk is good. There's nothing wrong with talking to yourself. People say, oh, long as you don't answer, but sometimes that may be the only intelligent answer that you can get at that time. So, but you have to be able to really to encourage yourself and to keep going, even when it seems like, because I wanted to close these doors a lot of times. I wanted to say, forget this. You know, I'm looking at the finances. I'm looking at all the other things the drama that comes with owning your own business. And it can be, sometimes it can be rough.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing happening, but you might have to make it happen. So you keep encouraging yourself and go on. And we want to thank you today for being with us here live on the WCEG network, WCEGtalkradio.com, your worldwide community empowerment group. We will be back on next week, starting with shows on Tuesday, but we will conclude our afternoon today at the library where we have our online Spanish classes. Ramona, we're on the way, so be ready. And you all have a wonderful weekend, and we will plan for you to come back into the studio. And since I see that Jeevan is your mentor and I'm your mentor too as well, we're going to try to work those third Saturdays to bring you in on the Saturdays as he's here, whether he has a guest or not. And we will also work, you tell me your schedule and we'll work around your schedule to bring you back in so that we can get this ball to rolling. It was a pleasure meeting you all today, Jeevan. It was a pleasure seeing you again today.
Thank you for having me.
Give us your social media information, how we can contact you, and get your book or to bring you in to speak to people. JeevanBrown.com.
BrownJeevan@gmail.com. Instagram is author JeevanBrown.com. Twitter Jeevan Brown, and Facebook Jeevan Brown. Just type in Jeevan Brown, you're gonna find me.
Oh, he will come up. Amen. Thank you so much for joining us today. You have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you.
Be blessed.